Hey guys, we're back with another podcast, and today we're doing a Romeo and Juliet podcast. Our first topic is Micah.
Okay, so topic 1 is the death of Romeo and Juliet. So, who do you guys think is responsible for their deaths?
Themselves.
Really?
I
think
they died by suicide. So like,
I think it's more like Fair Lawrence's. His plan. I think it was his plan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They should have just left because she was gonna get disowned anyway.
If we're being low key, I think it might be their fault because
It's their
why
fault.
they kill themselves over that? That's kind of dumb. I think it was from the decisions of the adults around them. Because
Decisions in general.
Fire Lawrence's and if the Capulets and the Montagues didn't hate each other.
Yeah. It'd be a different story if they're more like families already.
Yeah.
But I don't think Romeo and Juliet would be together if they're families. So.
Here, we could go back to this topic. Now moving on to our next topic. We talk about what is love in Romeo. What is love in Romeo and Juliet? So, I think love is a powerful, invisible force that caused Romeo and Juliet to fall in love. One thing I can say about love in this book is that it can influence relationships that even though love can bring joy and it can also bring tragedy. I've seen obviously they bring the joy being Romeo and Juliet coming together and they get married and they love each other very much, but then the tragedy being they end up dying at the end from suicide. That's what I think. I thought their love was delusional because they were Romeo was older and not really older, but older than Juliet, and Juliet was a youngin, bruh. And she was just delusional over Romeo. She was a 13-year-old. That guy was 20.
I think when Romeo was stuck on Rosaline, he was kind of wanting love. He was
It was all it was really
he was yearning for it.
Jesus, it was joy, I guess.
Yeah, and so when he saw a beautiful woman, he was like, oh yeah, she's beautiful. So I think it's his
rebound.
The love never changed, but it changed for a different person. Cause he was still sad about Rosaline and stuff, and then he felt the same way about Juliet.
But it's the same as you saw Juliet at the party though. It's it just went quickly from Rosaline to Juliet. That's what he said. Really.
In this story, we don't even know if he saw Rosaline at the party.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he did at all.
Yeah, but there's not a scene where they're talking or in the movie he walks past her.
Oh yeah, he doesn't see her at the party.
They don't talk or anything.
Mm-hmm. Nah, he's just looking for her, and then he sees Julia, and he's like,
oh.
"New meta."
He's upgrade. Or I mean,
Yo. Not upgrade.
Downgrade.
my bad, Kamu. Okay. Topic 3. Topic 3 is gender, power, and love.
Oh, the heck?
I think gender played a big role in this story because how much things happen because of men's actions. Because they fought a lot in the story, and that kind of created all the climax, which is where Tybalt died.
To add on to that, the men created all the conflict in the story, all the problems.
Mostly, other than the Capulets, I think, because they kind of forced Juliet into going to the marriage, even though she didn't.
And you can also say technically all the whatever the roles of men and women in this story, yeah, most of the roles and it's for the men is they're all powerful, they have all the power.
Yeah, they're all seen as people that just hang out with each other, and then when they see their rivals of the other family, then they start conflicts.
Yeah, I think it would be different if both of them were men because they both have power. Because they're like men and they're carrying their last name. So like, you know, it would be a different story if it was two men. So
And with power, I think when like the Fair Lawrence, he's a lot of power in the story. Like Romeo goes to him basically for everything.
And he's a priest, and back then, ancient.
The priest had like most of the authority. Because
Renaissance
how much?
times almost. It was like the priest could marry, had the power to marry. Yeah. Was it before Renaissance?
yeah, I think it'd be different because, what's her name? Juliet was gonna get kicked out by her dad if she didn't marry Paris, and if she didn't even have to marry Paris, then the whole entire story would be different. They wouldn't have killed themselves.
I mean, also though, to add on to that though, is like it's kind of dumb what they did at the end, cause like she just saw Romeo die. Why did bro kill himself with poison? And like and then she saw it and said, "Oh no."
I think like because like the Fair Lawrence gave him such like a good plan, and Romeo was like in such like a dark place at the time. He like listened to the Fair Lawrence because what he did before. He listened to Fair Lawrence and then it worked the first plan, but then it got canceled at the end, and then they made plan 2, which was for them to bury Juliet and stuff. But when Romeo didn't get the letter and stuff, I think he was like in the dark place again, so he just wanted to like end it with Juliet.
Wow, what do you think?
that's why.
What do you think?
About
Topic we're doing right now about love, gender,
Bro.
and love.
I feel like women in the story, women don't really play a big part other than the main role, and like Rosaline. Other than that, it's just a bunch of like maybe I guess the only women that we really see a lot of is the nurse, the mom, Juliet, and Rosaline. That's pretty much all we see. Other than that, there's like no women in the book, so I guess gender does play a huge role in how it was written. Like,
But to add on to what he's saying, for one thing about women in this book, especially is what is it? But about women in this book is that they're seen as like a lesser being in this society it's set in. They're just used as like ways to exploit to get power, like how they want Paris to be married to Juliet because they just want to have money and high status. That's how I think it is in this book. But here, to continue on what Val was saying.
all right, so back then, I assumed that women weren't really a necessity to having these kind of things, other than to play the role of, I guess, a lover. But yeah, in other stories, it's also pretty similar to like back then. They didn't really care about including women. These days is different because there's all this woke stuff, and but back then it was way different, and gender played a huge role in how things were portrayed as love and power.
Okay. Now, oh yeah.
I think the nurse was bad. Right, okay, my bad, guys. That was my intrusive thoughts. No, I didn't. That's literally what a podcast is. It's just like flowing through.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, you just talk.
Now you just
okay. So then like it's the case.
Bro, what is this guy doing?
Whoa, this is not part 2.
Bro, you don't even have to edit it. You just have to put this two stuff together.
Okay.
Okay, now it's your Vaha. It is you.
Okay. Now we move on to Vaha for his topic in the book, which is
Let me get it. Let me pull it up real quick. Alright, so my topic is justice. So in the book, I guess there's a bunch of different portrayals of justice, I think. But in the book Romeo and Juliet, the author Shakespeare really focuses on scenes that justice is carried out, whether it seems fair or not, which is kind of fascinating. One example of this is when Romeo is said to be exiled, he, I guess, lets his feelings get in the way of his judgment, and instead of killing him, he exiles him, which he should have killed him, I guess, according to the law, but the prince is the law, so nobody can say anything. I think he does this because he understands that Romeo was upset after Mercutio died, and this shows that feelings, even if you're like the top of the social ladder, even as the prince, feelings can, I guess, influence your decisions. Another quote that shows this is another scene, I guess, that shows this is after Romeo kills Tybalt, or after Tybalt kills Mercutio, I guess he's just having a moment of reflection, and he's saying, he says, either you or I or both must go with him. So he's saying, like, I need to kill you as well as as how you. I need. He needs to kill Tybalt because he killed Mercutio, and he doesn't care if he dies as well.
Justice, right? He wants
Yeah.
to get justice.
He wants to justify.
It's not like thinking about the future right now.
Nah, he's just thinking about, I need to
He's just thinking
avenge Tybalt, or avenge Mercutio and kill Tybalt, even though,
He's just like,
yeah.
He's just like, it's either you or me, bro. We gotta sell
And
this.
I feel like emotions also in this scene really have an influence on his, I guess, judgment to what seems like justice. The last scene that I want to reference in this podcast is the scene where Romeo, at the end of the book, where Romeo and Juliet are dead, and I guess is it the prince or is it the what's the guy's name? The bishop guy. What's it?
Vera Lawrence.
Yeah, the friar. Was it the friar or was it the prince that was telling them your hate for each other killed your children?
Oh,
Was that the prince?
killed your children. Oh, that was the prince. Yeah, that was. The
Yeah,
prince,
so
I'm pretty sure.
in this scene, the prince comes and tells
Or
them.
wait, or was it? I think
thought
it
it was
was.
Friar Lawrence.
Yeah, it was Friar Lawrence.
Or was it Benvolio? Because he was the one that was.
No, it was
Oh,
Friar-
someone.
it was
So,
Friar Lawrence.
Yeah, it was.
Friar Lawrence.
Because he came out of the tomb.
Because no, he came out and he was arrested, and then he saw how.
no, the prince. It's the prince. So the prince says, "See what a scourge is laid upon your hate, that heaven finds means to kill your joys with love." So he says this at the end of the play after Romeo and Juliet died, and thinks heaven, I guess, in a way, punished the families by taking away their children. Even though justice happens at the end, in a sense, it's too late to save Romeo and Juliet, and this shows that sometimes justice comes too late and can't fix the harm that's already been done. And that's the end of my, I guess, section.
Can I add? I want to add.
Oh, some
I
words
got
from
some stuff
from
to talk
Linnea.
about justice. I feel that when most of the conflicts happen, there isn't really justice, and the prince has justice for the people, of course, because he has to, but like the people in the story that are actually like in the families, they don't have justice for each other, and they don't think about it mostly, unless you're Juliet or Romeo. But like Benvolio, Mercutio, Tybalt, and the rest of all the people that fought didn't have justice for each other, nor themselves. You have anything to say, Micah?
Nah, nothing about this topic, bro.
I have something to say about justice. Throughout this entire book, and the whole reason why the two families are fighting is because of a grudge that these two families have. The entire reason, and the reason that this book is trying to say, is just like all the actions and conflicts in this book are because of this unsettled debate between the two families. They're just looking for someone to end it, and the way it ends, obviously, is through justice by Romeo and Juliet dying and killing themselves. It's the way for the debate to end. Back to Michael.
Yeah. I think that Friar Lawrence should have been killed, you know? Because, like, he made all this trash plan.
Yo, why you dissing
About-
Friar Lawrence, bro? What did he do? He just trying to
He
help.
killed them, bro.
Oh, he did. He was trying to keep them alive.
He tried
He tried his best.
He
He tried his
could've-
best to
he
keep
tried
him
his
alive.
best, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
he
like,
could.
bro,
He could have just told her to
Bro,
marry
just-
Paris,
no,
bro.
just-
you a priest, bro. You should be preaching,
Just
not
told them to run away 'cause she was
like
gonna
doing
get banished.
political.
Both of them were gonna get banished either way.
No, Juliet wasn't. If she just married Paris.
No, she married Romeo.
Yeah, she did, but they didn't know that he was banished already. So if he just
She
married
should
Paris,
just left and went to go by him, bro.
I think what happened what would have happened is that he should have actually personally delivered that message himself. You know, the one with the note that told him to.
Yeah, but someone that important can't leave Verona.
Well, I mean, but then there was also Friar John though to take over.
Friar John is a
Oh,
screw.
yeah.
Who's Friar John, bro? the Friar John. That was the. Never mind.
wait, do you guys think that
I don't know. Just saying.
who's
Just
that
saying.
poison dude?
The pharmacist guy in the other city.
Yeah. You guys
He
think
should have died. Bro, sorry.
You guys think he should have died?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he should have been executed because he gave
Yeah.
poison.
I mean, look, man.
But
Sure.
nobody even knows.
I sure, bro.
Nobody
You
knows because Romeo bought it from him, so there's no evidence.
I mean.
Well,
I
gold.
mean.
It's not like no druggie from the streets is gonna have that much
nobody's
gold.
gonna know anymore. There's no way to carry out the justice because Romeo's dead.
Was no.
Well, I think that he shouldn't have died, or he shouldn't be killed
Because
because
why?
he's a drug dealer pretty much, and he has a family, bro. Look, so basically, think about it. There's three little
Get on.
children. Shut up. Three little children behind him, bro, and they're begging, bro. They're like, please, I want
Okay,
food.
but
I
if
want
that
food.
was in this like this century, that man would be taken to prison.
Okay, well, he wouldn't be killed.
And
Hey,
his
man.
three children,
Hey, man.
his three children
He's like
would
that's
be
like
put in
voluntary
orphanage.
manslaughter.
Is
Well, back then the children would have died, bro. So he got
Hey
people
man,
to feed, bro.
bro, it was like that back then. Like, you know, they used to break kids' limbs just to sell them as
Eye
dwarfs
for an
to
eye.
get money. They used to do that, bro. If they
yeah,
were
back
really
back in
poor.
my day, that's how it used to be.
Back in your day, huh?
Back in your day.
Back in your.
Okay, but
Okay.
we go into like
What, should we spin the block to topic one?
Spin the block
Yeah.
is crazy, bro.
Hop out your party. Oh, okay. Alright, so I'm gonna read off my my stuff. Okay, so my topic thingy was the deaths of Romeo and Juliet, and they died because of the bad choices the adults around them made. So my quote is, "These violent delights have violent ends." That was in Act 2, Scene 6. And another one is, "I do spy a kind of hope." Act 4, Scene 1. So Friar Lawrence knew his plan could go wrong, but he still made it like pretty risky for them, you know, because like she was in that tomb for a while, bro. Could have just died. And they like hate between their families made it hard for Romeo and Juliet to even like be with each other. So like in Act 1, Scene 5, it says, "My only love sprung from my only hate." Yeah. So like those families hated each other and made their love a secret, which also resulted in them killing themselves.
I mean, it's kind of vague, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
we're
we're
just
at 19
saying,
minutes,
just
guys.
saying.
Hurry it up.
What do you mean, bro? We got 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Oh, we have 30 minutes to
Yes.
discuss this.
Why do you think I spin black?
Alright.
You guys got anything else to say, or you want me to read the rest?
I think we might need to restart. Actually,
think-
Why?
'Cause we did a lot of. It wasn't
no,
that
it's
good.
fine.
Bro,
Wait,
it's
you
fine.
guys, no,
We're
you
not-
guys
we're
didn't
not
do any
fucking
of the
restarting.
quotations, that's why.
I just did.
I am not
No,
fucking
because we weren't supposed to go in depth. Why are we discussing this right now?
He's doing his quotes right now.
Yeah, I was
and then we're
doing
going
my
back.
stuff.
Yeah, okay.
We gotta edit that out.
Nah. I think it, so another quote where the nurse gave Juliet bad advice. I think it best you married with a County O. He's a lovely gentleman. In Act 3, Scene 5. That was from Act 3, Scene 5. Another one from Act 3, Scene 5 was, "Romeo is banished and all the world to nothing. So the nurse told Juliet to forget about Romeo and marry Paris, which confused Juliet and made her feel like she was by herself, and made her make like desperate choices and doing Friar Lawrence's plan. So, and another one is, then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet, which was from Act 2, Scene 3.
I don't think we need to read all of
Yeah.
the quotes.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Okay,
Okay.
Mitchell, you can do some of your quotes.
Yeah, you can do yours now.
So moving on to my topic, back to my topic about love is a powerful and invisible force that caused Romeo and Juliet to fall in love with each other. Love can bring both joy and conflict, as I said earlier. So the way how love starts conflict can be found amongst the first scene in Act 1. Oh my, what fight happened here? No, don't tell me I know all about it. The fight has a lot to do with hatred, but it has more to do with love. This came from when Romeo was talking to Benvolio about the fight that broke out between the Montagues and the Capulets earlier that day. He was in the marketplace, and he states how it's more love than hate. It was influenced more by love because of their passions for fighting for each other, rather than it just being hate. That's one of the quotes.
What the heck?
Another quote that I find that helps support this claim is amongst Act 1, Scene 5, where it states, "The only man I love is the son of the only man I hate. I saw him too early without knowing who he was, and I found out who he was too late. Love is a monster for making me fall in love with my worst enemy." The way how this starts conflict is when Juliet sees Romeo at the party, at the Capulets' feast, and Romeo makes his move to her, and then, they kiss, they do romantical stuff, and however, upon hearing that he's a Montague from the nurse, she starts breaking down about how love is a monster for making her fall in love with the only son of the man that she hates. Yeah, that concludes my section. Now I move on to Nanea.
Again, my topic is gender, power, and love. In Romeo and Juliet, the men in this reading try their best to show who's more dominant, even if they just met on the street. The two families have had beef for many years before, but only now has become this bad. Is it because the love that Romeo and Juliet carry for each other, or is it the anger within the family that's been burning for so long? At the start of the book, we have it's kind of like when in the middle, it's after the party, and it's the day after the party when Romeo's at Fair Lawrence's place. Mercutio and Benvolio were walking, and Tybalt with his crew, Capulet crew, is, oh great, here come the Capulets, is what, yeah, that's their nickname. Oh great, here come the Capulets. Act 3, Scene 1, is what Mercutio said before a fight broke out. And this was a pretty big fight because one of the important characters, kind of like side character, but he was also important to Romeo, was killed. And that's what changed kind of like the what is it called? The something of the story?
The moral or the theme?
Or like, cause what's happening at the beginning, and then it changes to something else. Like at the beginning of the story, it's just Romeo and Juliet, and they're like in love, but then the second is when everything like takes the turn, and then
Talking about how stories formatted, like the climax, the turning point.
yeah, turning point. That's like kind of its turning point when Mercutio dies. Climax is like at the peak of everything.
Not even in the film.
Another quote is, Romeo's prank, which seems so sweet to him now, will turn bitter to him later. This is to show like power. This is Act 1, Scene 5. Tybalt thinks he's above Romeo, I don't know why he thinks this. He probably thinks this because he's in his own house. So he thinks that Romeo's not supposed to be here or he's not allowed to be here. So he's putting himself above Romeo. And after this, Tybalt tries to go up to Romeo, but wasn't it the Capulet, his uncle? The Capulet stopped Tybalt from going to Romeo.
That was his dad. That was
His
that
uncle.
That was Mr.
The Capulet.
Capulet. That was
Yeah.
that was Mr. Capulet.
Yeah.
He stopped him from Tybalt from trying to start a fight with Romeo at the party because you didn't want the guests all freaking out.
And a quote for love: the sound of lovers calling each other's names through the night is silver sweet. Act 2, Scene 2. Even though they live in this world where everything is controlled by power, Romeo and Juliet had found love. Huh? What?
You have to do an ad. Remember?
We
You
do it
had to
after.
an ad.
Film it.
Okay, right here.
I got to do it.
Do the ad right here.
No, man, our ads come in at schools, bro.
Our ad that has sponsored us today is the one and only Kamehameha Schools.
Does anyone have a commandment?
No. We don't have a Kamehameha Schools. Okay,
This podcast would not have been able to be made if it wasn't for Commitment Schools. This is
They've sponsored-
They for all.
They sponsored our.
Right here. Right there.
You know my phone too.
Right there.
See this? See this? See that shirt?
This computer.
I would not have been able to have this, because it was given to me by
Sponsored.
That shirt right there too. Our athletic facilities.
I wouldn't be able to go to the gym most of the time because of that. That I let them.
I'm so thankful for the buildings. We have classes in these.
I wouldn't be able to.
Great education. Great education. The teachers, love the teachers.
Especially Kumuyi.
Love the especially
Kumuyi.
Not you, my
I have a question though. What's the most
What's the most memorable moment on campus? But okay, guys, who's your least favorite teacher in this school? Yep.
I don't want to answer
Yeah, well, someone's answering that. Someone's answering that.
Kumuyi.
Yeah, Kumuyi is my favorite, honestly.
Stop capping.
Kumuyi.
What?
Oh, I know yours.
Yeah, mine is
He's
my.
top 3. He's top 3.
Mine's is my Hawaiian teacher. I don't like my Hawaiian teacher. She's mean.
Give me my phone back.
Anyways, end of sponsor.
Yeah, and a sponsor. Thank you, Commitment Schools, for sponsoring this podcast.
And
Now back to the podcast.
who,
What are we at?
who needs to do this? Who needs to do this?
Did you cut it out?
Yeah, we started it when we did the ad.
All right.
And we're back.
Wait, how much is
And we're back.
Alright. So, what else? Are you just concluding it now?
Yeah.
What's our time looking like?
This your end.
What's our time looking like?
For tad bit, we're a little bit over time, a little bit.
No.
Okay. Thank you for watching our podcast. Please subscribe if you want more podcasts.
Finish your topic.
I did.
He finished his.
When?
The first time. He did his already.
Bro, we're supposed to go over.
He did his quote.
Okay, guys.
Under 30 minutes.
Thank you guys for watching our podcast. Please subscribe if you want some more podcasts made by us. Well, we'll see you guys in the next one. We'll just do some quick shout outs. Shout outs to all of our peeps out there. Shout out to Mint Kids for letting us borrow their equipment. Shout out to Diddy for not inviting us to the parties. And then shout out to Bronco Combo for being cool. Alright, peace.
Bye.
That was so bad. We didn't redo that actually.